Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome yet again from the break. This is still Doreen Kemcha, Women in Business on Smart 24 TV. And our guest today, amazing, wonderful Teddy from iProfile. We are talking about how to help our sisters, urban refugee women within Uganda. Amazing skilling program that iProfile is doing right now and helping them through. You know, during the break, we were laughing about something that was said. And I remember I mentioned that we are our number one supportive unit as women.
Sure.
And we break the ice wherever we go. So I was wondering, how can we, because as we talk about these fellow sisters of ours, the Congolese, the Eritreans, the Somalis, the Sudanese, as we get to know that they have their challenges and you are helping them assimilate and get to improve their livelihoods, how can we help them per se? How can we help them, and how can we begin to identify? Can we reach out to them? How do we reach out to them? How does it start? Because some of them are scary. like some of them are okay. And then the others that are just plain scary, you don't know what to expect, but we do know that there are a couple of great things. So how do we reach out to them?
Well, first of all, when it comes to how do we help them, the very first thing we can do as you and I and whoever is out there is create an environment where they actually feel safe and they feel like part of the environment.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we are so focused on treating someone the same way that we end up treating them differently.
True.
We overcompensate, and then in the process of saying, but we want to treat them like Ugandans, you end up treating them in a different way.
You actually highlight their difference.
Then they start to feel a little aloof. Because what most of those ladies are saying is, I just want to be in a place where I can put my small stall and I'm like an everyday Ugandan.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to places and then they're saying, that person. Stuff like that. So it starts from treating them the same way, creating an environment in which they actually feel safe.
Yeah.
So
what are those particular? I know you have worked with amazing women, and we're trying to get to see, because right now, even as I talk to you, I'm looking at the other side of them that I don't get to see so often. I don't. And I would want many Ugandans to see this amazing side of them. But I also know they're very good with a couple of, they have a couple of talents. Yeah. What have you seen among your friends?
For me, what stands out is really the food.
Yeah, I know.
I am those people who love food. So if it's trying out food, yes, please.
Yes.
So they have a few amazing dishes. You should try the Sudanese they have those sweet treats. They're like desserts. I'll give you a place you can go to.
What are they called?
I'm not sure of the name,
it's white.
They're desserts.
It's a white.
They have several. It's not just one.
Now I only know one. I only know one, and literally, it's sort of like not very oily. If you leave it like at the bottom, because it comes in containers, at the bottom it's sort of like oily.
Yeah.
But then there's a shop around Arua Park that sells it. Yes. That is how tight. But I also knew it from someone who works in Sudan, and then came back with it. So I've just forgotten the name. It's made out of simsim.
Yeah, they have those simsim treats that they sprinkle on sugar. Yeah. Then there's that one they make with honey.
Yes. Now imagine all these beautiful things that we are talking about. Now imagine, because I know I think the Eritreans and the Ethiopians have this flat, is it injera, the bread. But now this is the weird thing about it. We get to know, and we think that the only place we can get to eat some of these is maybe the cuisine within a particular hotel or a particular restaurant. And yet, whenever I'm passing by Mengo, whenever I'm passing by all these after Mengo Secondary, there are always these other restaurants. But guess what? Even in Bunga, yes, and all those areas in Zambia. But guess what? The average Ugandan, myself inclusive, would think that it is generally the other
For
fellow
those people.
Ethiopians that go there, the other fellow, and all the people that I see on those balconies are fellow Ethiopians, fellow Somalis. So you get where I'm going?
Yeah, I guess
That's why I asked specifically, how can we help them? Because we would want to eat some of these great dishes.
But if you went there, they wouldn't chase you away. They'd actually serve you.
But why can't they have like Uganda night? Why can't they have, I don't know, why can't they have all these different things?
Uganda night is a good one.
Yes, to make it easier for me to break into their space. Because every time I want to go there, they're speaking a different language. They're populated by different people. I don't see a number of Ugandans there, so I'm not drawn to go there.
Yeah.
But if you tell me there is a Ugandan night and all that, I will definitely, and I'll bring along my buddies and go there as well. Yes.
Yeah, maybe we could look into that. But it starts from you and the spirit of adventure.
Yes.
Like just walk into one of those places, order for food.
True.
Sit.
That's also true.
And you'll always go back, trust me. Because they actually have very nice food.
Amazing food. Yes, I've tested some. But also I also know that the amazing, they're quite very good with the plating and the henna and all these different. I had quite a number of women comment, Ugandan women comment about how amazing the designs, the henna designs are.
And
yes.
you'd be shocked by how fast those ladies are.
They're very quick.
Very shocked.
Because this is natural to them.
Because now one of the artisans who does henna at Hennaville, she can do your henna in less than 5 minutes and you'll be shocked. It's only the drying process that will take a while.
And this is what I keep saying, is right now iProfile trying to put a bridge whereby the buyer who is interested in all these beautiful things can be able to access them. Is iProfile thinking about that linkage?
Right now, it's in the works. It's something we are working on. But for henna, it's up and running. Hennaville, you can always look through our socials. Just look for Hennaville.
Hennaville.
Yes.
Yes.
Or you can just contact iProfile directly. We can always get you in touch with an artisan, make your booking, and trust me, you will not regret it.
You see, and these are some of the linkages that women in business is very keen on. It's not just about skilling someone and then talking about how great their services are. What next? How do we push them out there? And also, in addition to that, talking about the attitude, the attitude issues, the biases. Is there another workshop maybe, or a service that is embedded within your skilling to help them take them through the processes of gelling with the Ugandan society, which is all out and open?
True.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, that is something that would want to be also keen on.
So what happens is, as iProfile Foundation Uganda, we don't necessarily do that particular kind of work.
Yeah.
But we are part of several coalitions. We have a number of partners who deal in that particular space.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a referral system where if, say, we are dealing with a community that requires a psychosocial or an emotional, because sometimes you can't start dealing with the livelihood before you deal with the psychosocial and the emotional well-being of
it's
a
like
person.
a veil.
Exactly.
It's like a veil you have to break through.
Yeah, and until you break through that, it will be like you're hitting against a wall. So we are trying to look into, can we build a referral system where if we notice that there's a psychosocial problem that has to be addressed before we bring in the livelihoods, can we call on our different partners from, say, the coalitions or the different works that we've done? Can we call upon those to first break the veil and build way for us to actually...
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
It's something that we are working on, but
well, we wish you luck. We wish you luck, because that is something we would want ironed out and really addressed.
Sure.
But also, Teddy, as you have been going through and engaging these amazing women, what are some of the challenges that you have seen? And it's two-way challenges on your side as iProfile, but also challenges that are within the systems that you get to navigate every single day.
Well, like I said in the beginning, the very first challenge is that information gap.
Yeah.
Those people don't know these things. They don't know that as a refugee, as long as you registered at IOM, you can always go and start your business. You can have a bank account. You can do You can literally do anything a
that
regular
the Ugandan
does,
can do.
except vote, of course.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the only thing.
Yeah.
But other than that, the rights for refugees are actually very liberal. So what happens is, for that, we are trying our level best to first build the information gap. When we go to say a particular place and women are complaining, my business, I can't register my business because I'm a refugee, seeing a national ID. And you're like, but you see, you can actually do that as long as you are registered and there's a number that they're given and you have that, you actually can register your business.
Really? Is that easy?
It's not that easy, but it's something that can be done. I think a couple of humanitarian organizations together with government that are working on streamlining the process. Yeah. But it's something that can be done. Then also we have that challenge of the language. Yes. The language at first was a problem because the trainer is English, then the trainee is speaking Arabic and things like that. Yeah. So what we did is, for the very first cohort, we said, let's first teach basic English. Yes. Let's see, okay, at what level of English is this person? Yeah. So can we improve on that? So that at least when the trainer says, hey, you take a photo, the person can actually take a photo. Yeah. So what we did was first do the basics, and then also we are looking at a system where can we look at those outstanding people in programs to come back as trainers? Yes. Because it's easy for them to speak their language with the people and explain concepts in their language, as opposed to me standing there and speaking big English words and they're saying, but what did she say? But madam. Yeah. So I think we are looking at bridging those. Those are some of the things that tried squeezing us at first, but we are working towards.
And what about the different opportunities that you get to see? What are those particular opportunities that really, apart from the food, apart from the food that one is all sold out on you. Apart from the food and maybe the beauty aspects, what are those particular opportunities that you seem to say, you know what, this particular Sudanese woman, yes, Adut, this particular Somali woman would flourish here?
We've seen someone who is very, very passionate about the digital part of it. He actually went ahead and he learned coding. Which is really, really good, and he's in a good place right now. Yeah. I'm very happy about that. Then there are those who do crafts. So what happens with crafts, that it's a little more on the referral end, because not everyone really gets that. Yeah. But if I know a friend who wants crafts, at least I can say, I have this lady. So there are also those who are really good with the office. Admin and stuff like that. They're really, really good.
So the same opportunities really that we have as Ugandans are the same opportunities for them. Now, we've also had conflict in host communities, especially within refugee camps, right? You've heard of it?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, when it comes to enabling, to empowering the urban refugee woman to come up and be able to, skilling her so that she starts a business, improve her livelihood and welfare. And then backtrack a little bit and come down to downtown. Yes? I'll give you that scenario whereby last time, there were KCC, I believe, was trying to evict the traders working on the veranda. And then there was that little clash when they came back, because this other person within the shop was saying, you know what, I pay my dues, okay? So when this person comes and then is selling almost the very same thing on the street, you are taking away my business. Now that was a clash between Ugandan and Ugandan, okay? Now I'm imagining what mitigation strategies are we putting in place, are you putting in place to ensure that when that empowered good baker with the good bakery goes out there, yes, there's going to be fluidity, there's going to be that very good seamless, cohesion, and there's not going to be clashing, because this is not only happening in Uganda, it's happening
worldwide.
xenophobia is happening all over different countries.
True.
South Africa is all over the news. The French were recently,
very
rioting. So it's something that is real and has to be addressed. How do we ensure that this amazing, remarkable baker, yes, is not going to actually get into conflict with the one who is already on ground?
Well, when it comes down to that one, we always tell people when we are skilling, when you're putting out your skill there, make sure you're within the legal bounds of whatever it is you're doing. Because when you move out of the legal bounds of what you're doing, it becomes a problem. Yes. Not just for you, but for your community as a whole. Because everyone will say, hey, those people. Stuff like that. So yeah, it is just stick within your legal bounds, because as long as you're within your legal bounds, they can always stand for you.
I believe if we got to know these people, quote unquote, yes, as not per se just the Sudanese, the Somalis, but as fellow women, because we know what they're just like us. They're just like me. But I would want to know them per se as the fellow woman that I know is a fellow woman. Yes, I wouldn't want all these, the walls of ethnicity to come in between. Exactly. The walls of ethnicity should not be coming in. Sure. And for that to happen, I must be receptive to them as a Ugandan, but they also must try to reach out. Yes, and I think those are things. It's not just going to be one way. It has, yes. If I am going to buy, I know you have an amazing talent. You give very good henna designs. Well, reach out to me as well. Reach out to me as a woman that is actually interested in your service.
But I've seen a couple of inclusion strategies that are being discussed at national level.
Like what?
Like there's a refugee inclusion strategy that currently, I think different coalitions and organizations are actually adopting, where we are looking at, first of all, treat them as a person. Because before everything else, they are flesh and blood. And also I've seen humanitarian organizations, I've seen it many with UN, they've gone all out in trying to make sure that when those guys come here and settle, first of all, they are taken through, because before you're actually given that status, there are a few things that you go through. So that when they go out there and they're settling in a place, they actually can fit into where you are. But I've seen this with mainly refugee communities out there, where when someone new comes in, they try to make that person feel at home. I've seen it with their communities, which is a really good thing, because they try to make the person feel at home. This is not your original home, but this is Uganda. It can be home. You can start here. You can do this. This is the LC. This is so and so. If there's this problem, you can always go to such a person. So I think we are getting there.
We are getting there. We are not where we started. We are not where we want.
Thankfully.
We are not where we started. We are not where we want, to be. But at least we are getting there. Right? And that's the amazing thing about clinging on to hope. Yes? Women in business, we are always hopeful. We're always hopeful that something can be done. Something better. Because as we had this conversation, even before this, all this setup, immediately my mind was like, she is a woman like me.
True.
She has the same concerns. And not even just concern as in per Ugandan within this particular soil, but also, for example, Sudan right now has those clashes. So I'm assuming that someone who wanted to go back and was thinking now it's just a setback all over again, and she has been here for 5 years. Yes, we are receptive. Yes, it's a good country. Yes, we have, open door policy, but
home is home.
Home is home.
At the end of the day.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I want you to be able to look into the camera right now and just stress. Not only to the woman, to the urban woman watching you, the urban refugee woman watching you, but also to the Ugandan. To the Ugandan who is afraid of reaching out to them.
Okay.
Because these things are real.
True.
Yes, let's not even sugarcoat it. These things are real. I was telling you about that experience where I was within other people downtown, and then a group of these tall group of Sudanese women came in, and I was telling you about the sentiments. So I would want that you stress, at least get to talk to them.
But you know, in most cases, fear stems from unknown.
Exactly.
So, well, I would just like to emphasize the fact that these people you see out there, they're like you, they're like me, they're like your mother, they're like your sister, they're just flesh and blood like you are. So the first thing we can do for them is, first of all, create a conducive environment for them to actually thrive. Because they require an environment like you do, like you wouldn't thrive in an environment that is a little harsh or not so good. They also require an environment that is safe for them to express themselves and also thrive. So every Ugandan woman, man, they matter as long as you are Ugandan. Don't look at these people like different people. They are people like you and I, irrespective of the fact that they're not Ugandan.
Yeah. And then to the Somali, and then to the, because now this is, yes, we are still going through all that, but what about, because there is an onus that is on them.
Yes, true.
The onus is also on them, not necessarily one-sided on the Ugandan host community. No. What would you tell them?
It goes back to being able to accept that you actually need people to thrive. The first thing that you can do to get help is accept the help that is actually being given to you.
Yeah.
If a conducive environment has been created, thrive within that environment. You do not remain aloof. But also if there is a bias or something, or maybe there's something you really don't understand, there are different local leaders that you could always reach out to, and different organizations that you could reach out to and find help. It just does, you don't have to die in silence or in those small knitted communities. Like she said, Uganda is hospitable, so we are one big community. So, yeah.
And I, even as we talk about this, by then my mind was flashing back, back forth, right? I was thinking about it and saying, everyone knows that they come in with different unique talents. The Congolese are awesome with, they just have the awesome tailoring skills. Yes, and instead of taking over that particular niche, yes, and then causing dissension elsewhere, it would be very good to spread across. Yes, teach the different Ugandans these particular skills. Get out, don't just, cocoon yourselves and say we are here and we have these particular skills.
Teaching a skill can actually be a way for someone to earn money.
Exactly.
Because I know there are people out there who would like to learn certain things and they're willing to actually pay for these services.
Yes.
So it's just something that you need to get out of your box.
Yeah. And since you come from the food aspect, they should as well. They should as well teach. Because it's almost like a what? Nigeria is like a chapat from what I hear.
Yeah, it's like a chapat.
Yeah. So why shouldn't they teach others? The more you teach others and spread,
the more they appreciate.
The more they appreciate, and the more they get to embrace
it.
This has been amazing. iProfile, we wish you the best.
Thank you, Dory.
May you continue, bringing them closer and giving them all this information and skilling them. Now, what I've also learned as Doreen is not only the more we get to know about what our sisters out there, the urban refugee women are going through, starting up afresh in a different country, having these different challenges to navigate, the more empathetic we are towards them, but also we get to highlight and really talk about some of these different issues that we get to see from our side, yes, and how maybe they perceive them from their side and what can be.
Different perspectives.
Yes, and we really wish them well. Different sisters out there, the Congolese, the Eritreans, Somalis, Ethiopian, the Sudanese, whatever nationality you are, we love different people. We are Uganda. We are very welcoming to different nationalities. Please understand us and let us understand you. To the woman in business, thank you so much, Teddy. Kudos, keep going higher. We want to thank you so much for whatever you are doing. Meet us next time, same place, same time. Kem Shadorin is my name. Women in Business on Smart 24 TV. See you next time.